Today we're going to start a project called a Notan Design. It's another symmetrical project, except it has a special color contrast to it as well. Let's get to work. For this project you need scissors, a glue stick pencil, a sheet of colored paper, and a half sheet of colored paper, a different color. You're going to draw the shapes on the edges like you did in your workbook onto this colored paper. I'm going to do super organic shapes. Just have some fun with it. To fill up the space, you basically want to do 2 on each side, 1 on the top, and 1 on the bottom. So you have 6 shapes total. Keep that one a little simpler. And the more fun you make your shapes, the easier it is to fill that space in the middle. Once you have all of your shapes drawn, you're going to use the scissors to cut as close to on the lines as you possibly can, because we're going to be using every single bit of this paper. We're going to use every shape and we're going to use the entire leftover background. So you don't want to cut through the shapes, you don't want to cut through the paper around the shapes. Now, if you make your lines as crazy as I made mine, it does make it more challenging to cut it out. But just do the best you can. Even if you don't make it on the lines perfectly, we can use a pencil to erase those. It's just to help you know that you filled up the space. And to know where you're going to cut. I'm going to speed this up. Curved lines are obviously a little bit more difficult to cut out. Straight lines are easier. Simpler lines like that one, also easier. The more difficult they are to draw, the more difficult they are to cut. But also the cooler they look in the end. You'll notice I'm switching directions from which way I cut from at times, just to make sure I don't accidentally rip the paper. Now that I have everything cut out, I'm going to use my pencil eraser to erase the lines that may have been left behind. Get it nice and cleaned up. Get my shapes out of the way. And I'm going to put glue all over the back of my background here. My background of the shapes. You kind of have 2 backgrounds. You could also call this the negative space. And whenever we're gluing something with a glue stick, we put the glue on the paper we are gluing down, not on the paper we are gluing it down to. So I'm going to try and line this up to the edge as best as I can. It may not be perfect going up from the top to the bottom, but get it close. Smooth it out. If you have any pieces that aren't quite sticking, you can always kind of peel them up and just put a little bit of glue and press them back down. Smooth it out. It looks like I got a little glue smudge here. That'll mostly scrape off, erase away. Not a big deal. The next step, I'm going to put this together like a puzzle. Just put my pieces right back where I cut them from. That's going to help me know where they go for the next step. And to make sure I put them the right direction. I'm going to make sure these all fit in so they are the correct way. I always like to start in the middle because this is the easiest. I'm just going to move it off to the side. I didn't flip it. I just moved it aside. Put glue all over it. And I'm going to flip it now. And I'm going to line it right up to the edge, right next to its negative space. So that created a symmetrical shape. It's just opposite colors. Next one, slide it off to the side. Put glue all over the back. And I'm going to do the same thing. Flip it over, line it up to its mirror image, smooth it down. Those are the easiest ones because you line it right up to the middle. The top one, get the glue all over it. It's going to go at the top in the middle, very similarly placed. So I'm going to try and get that spacing the same. Get it lined right up to the top, press it down. For the outside ones, glue all over the back, flip it over, and this one goes on the outside edge, and I want to try and make sure I get it at the same height as its mirror image, its opposite color image. And there we go, press that down. Next one, same thing, glue all over it. And line it up on that edge to create my mirror image. And the bottom one, right there in the bottom. So now I have a mirror image. It is symmetrical, but with the colors flip-flopped to create that contrast.